4 months after she ran away. The neighbors who provided the video to TMZ say that it shows her arguing with people who had pulled a prank on her. Take a look.
Really good.
Okay,
It's
bye.
been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
And by the way, incidentally, it was just one street over from David's $20,000 a month mansion that his manager was renting.
Kali Uchis, Tyler the Creator, Ice Spice, and other Black creators have all reacted to David being exposed for what he did to Celeste. And allegedly, David's career is over. Some celebrities are even defending David and saying that he's innocent. Spotify is getting ready to remove David's music, and his song with Kali Uchis has already been removed. This story keeps getting darker, and according to some reports, Celeste might have been just 11 when David started grooming her.
Kali Uchis speaks out on the David situation. For some reason, people thought it was a good idea to go into her comments on social media and start blaming her and dragging her into this situation that has absolutely nothing to do with her. And David have a song together called Crashing. Someone commented, "Your friend is an unaliver and he likes kids." And somebody obviously said, "But how was she supposed to know this?" Which 100% right, to which Kali responded, "He's not my friend. I did a song with him, which is currently in the process of being taken down, given today's disturbing news." Kali also made another comment. She said that her being dragged into this situation is a perfect example of how people always want to find a way to blame women for a man's actions, which I completely agree, because she never said they were friends. She never posted up like they were besties.
On the 8th of September, a dismembered body later discovered to be 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in the trunk of an abandoned Tesla belonging to singer David. What first was seen only as a horrible coincidence is now turning into a murder investigation after police found out that David had been grooming Celeste ever since she was 11. Tonight, more than a week after a body was found inside an impounded Tesla registered to the singer who goes by the stage name David, Los Angeles investigators identifying the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, the same girl who was reported missing last year. According to the Riverside County Sheriff,
tonight, more than a week after a body was found inside an impounded Tesla registered to the singer who goes by the stage name David, Los Angeles investigators identifying the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, the same girl who was reported missing last year, according to the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. Police first found the teen's decomposed body on September 8th after being called to a Hollywood tow yard because of a foul odor coming from the Tesla, which was impounded after a person reported the car abandoned. Law enforcement sources say the remains were not intact, and according to the medical examiner, it appeared the girl, who is described as having wavy black hair and weighing about 71 pounds, had been dead inside the Tesla for an extended period of time.
Allegedly, a timeline of when Celeste might have died has also been released. According to Steve Fisher, a private investigator hired by Celeste's family, the last date he has that shows Celeste alive is January 2nd, 2025. Starting in May, D4vd's Tesla was parked in a few different spots around the neighborhood. And then finally, on July 29th, left in its final spot on Bluebird Avenue. This happens to be right before, or the same day David left for tour. Police reports suggest that Celeste was already inside the car at this point and, like...
I got to tell you about the search at the house. We know what while we don't know what they actually left with, we know from law enforcement sources what they were looking for and what they did inside the house. You know, they were looking for blood evidence. We're told that the detectives went through the house. There was, with luminol, thinking that if whatever happened to Celeste, if she met her demise in the house, they wanted to see if there was any evidence of blood anywhere in the home. So they were using luminol around the house. They were checking drains to see if there's any, blood evidence or, blood or tissue that was in the drains there. So they did a scouring of this house looking for any evidence. Again, we don't know what, if anything, they found, but our law enforcement sources say when they executed this search warrant, that was on the list, a very long list of things they were looking for in that house.
That's very painful to hear, because we know that this body was dismembered and not all parts of this body were recovered. So it would make perfect sense if they were looking to see where that dismembering happened.
Right.
And also, just remind me, this house is being rented by David's manager.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind that David is a very young, he's 20 years old. So from what we've seen as listings, this house is going, $20,000 that it can be rented for $20,000 a month. It is a large home. It's an estate, really. That's not the kind of thing even a famous 20-year-old could do on his own typically. So it is his manager, a guy who is connected to Interscope Records.
Josh Marshall is his name,
yes.
right?
Yes. So he is the person we found out who was actually on the lease, who was renting this. But again, from all the photos that David has posted, it's very clear he was staying in this home.
Still unclear when Celebs Rivas Hernandez died and how, but private investigator Steve Pfizer is among those searching for answers after the 14-year-old was found dead on September 8th in the trunk of a Tesla registered to singer David.
Now to some new clues into the death of a teen whose body was found in the trunk of singer David. A private investigator digging into the timeline of events. Michelle Fisher joining us now with what he discovered. Michelle?
Mark, as of right now, this case remains a death investigation, and all along the LAPD has said the body of Celebs Rivas Hernandez had likely been in the Tesla for several weeks before it was discovered. But one private investigator tonight telling us his evidence indicates it may have been much longer.
The last date that we have that shows her alive is January 2nd, 2025.
It's still unclear when Celebs Rivas Hernandez died and how, but private investigator Steve Fisher is among those searching for answers after the 14-year-old was found dead on September 8th in the trunk of a Tesla registered to singer David.
The medical examiner has said she was in a very advanced state of decom.
After investigators found the remains, the LAPD executed a search warrant at this Hollywood Hills home where David had been staying. The home's owner then hiring Fisher.
He wants to understand, exactly, what may have happened and if his house played any role in that.
Using neighborhood surveillance videos and digital evidence, Fisher tells Eyewitness News he's now established a timeline centered around the Tesla.
That car, starting in May, was parked in a few different areas around that neighborhood. And then ultimately July 29th left in its final, parking spot on Bluebird. And this happens to be right before, or the same day that they're leaving on a tour bus to begin the tour for David's,
After investigators found the remains, the LAPD executed a search warrant at this Hollywood Hills home where David had been staying. The home's owner then hiring Pfizer.
And again, I stress, David was not like some crazy, obscure, completely underground figure that like nobody had ever heard of. Like, this guy had a very large and respectable social media following, had done some pretty big interviews with traditional media and sort of new media and podcast media. I mean, I admit, as somebody who regularly covers music, I myself was not aware of this either, but also I've never formally reviewed David's stuff and never dug into him because personally, I just don't find his music that interesting. However, there were clearly a lot of people out there who did, and the fact that this was just going over the heads of so many or just not registering to a lot of people as a sign of something bad is just strange, especially given that in the wake of Celeste being ID'd, fans have not been having a hard time finding a bunch of different context clues, be it in some of David's biggest songs like Romantic Homicide, a track that when you look on YouTube was apparently released on Celeste's birthday. There's also been a leaked Celeste song with some pretty disturbing lyrics laced into it as well. And these things are concerning enough and honestly are just the tip of the iceberg in terms of like the various connections people have been making.
Using neighborhood surveillance videos and digital evidence, Fisher tells Eyewitness News he's now established a timeline centered around the Tesla.
Isn't that just so crazy? Because, you know, we think, how does a 14-year-old child present as a 19-year-old woman? And I was told that these people were just so sure that she was a college student. They were specific. They said that she attended USC from what they believed. And also she was seen at events where there's age restrictions, you know, clubs and parties and stuff like this, where she had to be at least of 18 years old to get in. And we do know from law enforcement sources that she did have several fake IDs as well. So she was able to get into places where there was age restrictions. But,
you know, Charlie, it's so sad to hear that you and I are talking about a 14-year-old girl, but I keep going back to the fact that it's possible he connected with her as early as 12, and on the far end, maybe even 11.
Yeah, that's it, water. It's in water. It's in water. It's in water.
Why, you look good?
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
All of David's friends have started to distance themselves from David after the Celeste controversy. And now it is starting to look as if David's manager might be thinking about letting him go, too. Keep in mind that before the Celeste news came out, David was one of the biggest new artists on the planet. He has more than 1 billion views on his YouTube channel and over 30 million monthly listeners on YouTube. If this hadn't broken out by the time it did, David could be on the biggest tour of his career, performing alongside names like Tyler, the Creator, Daniel Caesar, Addison Rae, and Ice Spice. Now all that is over.
And so from the ages of 12 to 14, every now and then, Celeste would pop up on his Discord stream, on his Instagram lives. She would just pop up, clearly hiding in plain sight, wearing oversized hoodies, big glasses, or just literally covering her face with her hand and objects. And this would probably be because she was a runaway. Her parents were looking for her. She's underage. I mean, you name it. Because I don't know anyone who's in a relationship and acting like a bandit, like just hiding. Every time we see her, she's hiding. Now, someone in this Discord says, "Hey, who's the girl?" And David responds, "You're a fed." Now, why would me wanting to know who that girl hiding and creeping in the background is, why would your response be "you're a fed"? Now, these messages were also leaked from 2022, and Celeste says to David, "My parents are so effing annoying, they won't let me go see you perform," with a broken heart. He says, "Don't worry, I'll fix it." And so in 2022, she was 12 years old. So obviously he is grooming her. She's complaining about her parents. He's grooming her. He's presenting himself as her knight in shining armor. "Don't worry, I'll fix it. Don't worry, I'll save you. Don't worry, I'll get you away from these people. Don't worry, I am here to help, to make it all better."
With all the news that is coming out right now, it's hard to believe that anyone is supporting David. But believe it or not, some people still think it's all a coincidence. There are videos that prove David knew and dated Celeste with almost all of David's friends, saying that they knew David and Celeste were dating, but they didn't know that she was 13.
The moderators for David's Discord server say that they didn't know Celeste was underage or missing. There have been a lot of screenshots on the internet showing that Celeste was a part of this Discord server. In one alleged screenshot, Celeste is complaining that her parents won't let her go see David perform, and he replies saying, "Don't worry, I'll fix it." There are a bunch of screenshots of Celeste's alleged involvement in this Discord server. In one alleged message from August, someone says, "Drop the one with the missing girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez." There are pictures of David with Celeste in the Discord server, and someone says, "Hey, who's the girl?" David replies by saying, "You are a fed." There are plenty of pictures and alleged screenshots and live streams showing David with Celeste. But today, a moderator of David's Discord channel shared this lengthy message. You can pause to read the entire thing, but in it, they insist that they did not know Celeste was underage or missing. They say they also did not have any contact with her outside of what was public. They believe that Celeste was around 18 or 19 years old, and they say that Celeste appeared in 2 streams but otherwise was not active in the server. Additionally, they say that most of the moderators are not located in California, so they were not aware of any missing persons reports connected to her. They also had minimal contact with David and his team. They say mentions of her in the chat were not seen in real time due to how fast the chat moves when David pings everyone. They say that the majority of the staff team has actually left the server and they no longer associate with David. They do not support his actions in any capacity, and their priority is the well-being of members in the community. They extend their prayers to Celeste's family and hope that they find justice.
It's just very hard to believe that everyone around David looked at a 13-year-old girl and thought she was 19. To make matters worse, there were even people in David's Discord that knew Celeste was underage and had been reported as missing. Comments from over a year ago have been seen under David's TikTok videos where people were talking about David dating an underage girl. For David's fans, this didn't matter, and they would routinely joke about David being gay.
He found out that David used to watch live leak videos and even admitted to laughing at them in the past. If you don't know what live leak is, it's basically a place that you could go to see people no longer be alive, like videos of that. Now, if you listen to the lyrics of David's songs, it's very obvious that when he said he watched those live leak videos, he was probably being serious. In addition to the live leak stuff, Turkey Tom also found out that David had been called out for what he was doing in his Discord. Allegedly, David would only add girls that were not of age back on Discord, while ignoring requests from boys to be added. There was one guy that pretended to be a girl that was not of age and was quickly added by David, but on his main account, David would never add him. Now that, in addition to things like Robin Rivers' comment, it really shows a pattern of David liking them young. And for everyone saying that David isn't a suspect in the police investigation, that is simply misinformation. Police have only not announced who they're looking into. What they haven't done is clear David as a suspect. And judging by the fact that the police not only raided David's rental house recently.
It trained you. That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
Keep in mind that it wasn't just David who was in this Discord. He had a whole team of moderators who were managing the entire thing, and still did nothing. They are now deleting the messages that David and Celeste sent to each other to try and get rid of the evidence. Like, come on. You didn't know the only person your boss talked to and consistently mentioned was underage, was a minor.
David's manager has broken his silence about Celebs Rivas-Hernandez. David's manager, Josh Marshall, has broken his silence in a comment here on TikTok, which have a lot of people speculating, is this even Josh's real account? Because why would he break his silence here on TikTok? People are questioning these actions on why he would even take to TikTok to say this, and also noticing that the username of this account that commented all of this was changed yesterday. But I can in fact confirm that this is actually Josh Marshall's account. Josh Marshall is married and he does have children, and this is his wife here on TikTok, Follow D. You can see the last post that she posted was a video of her and her husband, Josh Marshall, and she follows this account that broke their silence here on TikTok in the comments. Josh Marshall came on TikTok to deny allegations against him because the private investigator Stephen Fisher put out information that he allegedly saw some email from Celeste's family to Josh Marshall in 2024 of Celeste being a runaway minor because they thought that she was with David. And in some of the comments, Josh Marshall said this video is false and the person is misinformed. This is the only time that I will speak on this matter for now. This has been a tough time for my family as I am a father of 3 children. I receive no emails. I'm no one's roommate and I live full-time at home with my wife and kids. My daughter is 14 and this news is affecting so many lives. I have never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything and I don't live in California. Also, I work remotely 95% of the time and my job doesn't require me to have much interaction with any of my clients, including David, as there are many others that work with him on a day-to-day capacity, not me. This news is tragic for so many and for her family. I hope the proper authorities get to the bottom of it soon. Let me remind people, a lot of this is speculation and alleged. He's not only saying that just this email is untrue, he is also saying some of the things in the media media are also untrue. He is saying even though his name was on the lease at the home that the police raided, that he never lived with David. All the media coverage were saying that David and Josh were moving out of this home, but I can prove that I don't think he lives in California like what this post is saying. His wife's Instagram account says Miami Girly, but also I was able to look up his LLC and it talks about the address of this LLC, but it also gives his personal address and it's in Miami, Florida. So I think Josh does live with his wife and children in Miami, Florida. He does not live with David in Los Angeles in that home that was raided. Honestly, this part could be very true because we know that David is really young.
In the same chat, David was also telling his fans that he was addicted to watching 6 videos and how it made him feel better. His song Romantic Homicide, released on Celeste's birthday, also revolved around the same topics. And when his mother first heard it, she was shocked.
I want to ask you about this mystery email. This is just so curious, though. It's an email that apparently was sent to Josh Marshall. Again, this is the manager of the singer, David. And it's sent by, quote, adults in Celeste's life after her final runaway in 2024. Or rather, not her final runaway, one of her runaways in 2024. The day after the email, Celeste returns home, almost as though the email gets to David and Celeste, and they're like, go on, they're on to us, you better go home, right? The private investigator we talked to about this said that there is proof that the email was sent. Do you know at all if the email was received?
Well, according to Josh Marshall, he did not get any type of email. And this is what I think really possibly triggered him to write this denial. He was just like, no, I never received any email. I have no knowledge. And this statement was actually made on a live stream that I did. And I think what happened was it just got clipped by different TikTokers and different content creators. And the headline here was, you know, Josh Marshall knows. What does Josh Marshall know? And he's like, what are you guys saying? I don't know anything. So it felt like it was important to him to clarify this. However, you know, when I saw this, I did go back to my source, the private investigator that we both know. And he's like, nope, I stand by this. I see it right here. I'm looking at it. And not only that, Ashley, he said that his source behind this email sent it to law enforcement, and now it's in law enforcement's hands.
Investigator Stephen Fisher, who claimed that he spoke with the family and saw this email, took to his Twitter again yesterday, saying that he saw this email once again. He said, since certain parties are now claiming that there was no email letter sent to Josh's camp, I confirm with the author of the email that it was sent and it does exist. And also confirmed that law enforcement requested a copy of the email and they are now in possession of it. I noticed the TikTok denial about the letter by email. How come there's no mention of Celeste? How come there was no denial of knowing Celeste or knowing she was a runaway or knowing she was underage? He asked Josh Marshall, can you go on the record denying those things? If Josh will go on the record on social media with a verified account and deny all of those things, then I will happily retract my statement and wait for confirmation from law enforcement.
David wasn't working alone. His manager was helping him cover up his crimes. The house that David and Celeste were staying at was registered to Josh Marshall, David's manager. And almost a year ago, Celeste's family emailed him telling him that David and Celeste were staying together. At the time, Celeste had been reported as missing. And one day after Celeste's family sent the email, Celeste returned.
Brand new video of Celeste Rivas Hernandez that completely rewrites the timeline of the case as we've come to know it has surfaced. Video was recorded at the home of Celeste's parents in Lake Elsinore, California, exactly a year ago, or a year before her body was found in the trunk of a car belonging to the rising music star named David. We had been told that Celeste went missing in April of 2024 and that her family hadn't seen her since. But this new video was recorded by a Nest camera on September 8th, 2024, which would make that 4 months after she ran away. The neighbors who provided the video to TMZ say that it shows her arguing with people who had pulled a prank on her. Take a look.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk? I ain't gonna let you talk. No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping. I ain't tripping. Nah, you tripping. saw the door and you tripping.
Oh my God.
Not because you tripping. Move the out of here.
You ain't gonna do You better get over there. Get your over there, little girl.
Just by the very dates of this video seems to prove that Celeste visited her family at least once after she ran away for the last time.
The private investigator who looked into Josh says that he has already submitted the email to law enforcement, and it's only a matter of time before Josh is taken into custody alongside David. Everyone involved with David should be punished. They knew what was happening, but they let it happen anyway. And now a child is gone.
Captain Scott Williams, quote, "We know for sure that Celeste Rivas Hernandez died and someone placed her body in the front trunk area of David Burke's Tesla. We know that the Tesla had been parked at the location from which it was towed for several weeks. So it is very likely Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been dead for several weeks prior to her body being discovered." I know, you don't think it's a big deal because it's like, yeah, we know all that, right? Not really. Like, this is the police finally confirming it, and they haven't said a thing. But that really does track with our reporting last week when we spoke with a private investigator who tracked down the tow reports for this Tesla. And they showed that neighbors had called police about that car on August the 26th. Police responded the next day and ticketed the car as per protocol. They got to wait 72 hours between each of the tickets they put on there. And after 3 visits, then they can tow the car. The second ticket came September 3rd, and the Tesla was finally towed September 5th. So by our math, police were involved with the car for a week and a half. But the neighbors who lived nearby said the Tesla had already spent close to a month abandoned on that side road. And by the way, incidentally, it was just one street over from David's $20,000 a month mansion that his manager was renting. The Tesla was registered in David's legal name, David Burke.
Celeste's family never informed law enforcement about the update and, according to some reports, kept quiet because David paid them to do so. A video has been obtained by TMZ allegedly from one of the stores in Celeste's neighborhood shows Celeste at her house a month after her reported disappearance.
It was captured by a surveillance camera down the street from Celeste's home in Lake Elsinore, California. There's Celeste, right there, at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. This was March 19th. Where she's going and why she starts to run is unclear. But one thing is certain. This minute-long video is critical to what came next in her young life, as is personal information about Celeste herself from the man who owns the cameras. I spoke a short time ago about all of this with TMZ executive producer Charles Ladibaudiere, and here's our conversation. Charles, tell me about this video, when it was taken, and the significance of the date and time.
Well, the video that we obtained from this is surveillance video from a liquor store in Lake Elsinore, California. The date is March 19th, 2024. What's significant about that date is this was around the time where what we've heard now from several people who have known, who knew Celeste, is that she was a runaway, and that in early 2024, there were multiple times that she ran away from home. This would have been either the second or third time, we're trying to figure that out, that she ran away in March. The first time had been in January. We've talked about it, that the police found her in Hollywood and brought her back to her family. But in March, she took off again. And we know this because her sister went into this liquor store and asked the owner if he had seen her come into the store. Did he have any surveillance video that might have shown her or where she went? He went back and looked at his cameras, and he did see this video, which shows Celeste walking down the street, walking at first, but then running, and she's running toward someone. Now, you lose it in the video because she gets too far down the street and you can't make out the vehicle, but the owner of the liquor store who we spoke to told us there was a car waiting for her there.
I'll tell you, I zeroed in on a couple of details.
This video is essential to connecting the dots. A report by one of the captains of the LAPD says that Celeste was allegedly kept in the back of the car for over a month before she was discovered. This means that the police actually towed the car and dropped it off at the tow yard while Celeste was inside.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
He didn't do it.
Out of here, all the evidence that's out there.
When they gonna let it stay out this long and they got a little bit of evidence? They didn't risk with way less evidence. If nothing else, put him in jail just to put a hold on him.
A dead body found in your car?
Listen, hold on. If they find a dead body in me and your car, and this is our car, do you think they'll let me and you stay out like long? They got all, so think about this. If they got all this information on him, dating a minor, an underage kid, and she looked like a white girl, mixed girl, what nigga they let just stay free like this? We already claim about injustices. You don't think, like we see in all the first 48s and crime units victims, they would find some kind of reason to hold him and keep him, make sure he don't do nothing to flee? They're not, no arrest. They got all this evidence that points to say he did it. He done sliced the body up because the body was butchered. So that means somewhere there's a location where there's been blood, where they put cut the lights. They got all this, no arrest? Y'all really think he done this and everything points at him? That's why you can't go with this. If everything points at him, why hadn't they made no arrest when we see get arrested with less evidence? With less evidence, circumstantial evidence they go to trial with. So they got all this physical evidence in his car, his girlfriend. Come on, man.
TMZ has also mentioned how this is the first time they've seen the police be so tight-lipped. According to them, this is probably because the police have what they need, but are trying to figure out how to connect the dots. The police are trying to make an airtight case before they bring in David for questioning. If they make a move too early, David could get away.